What if you had the power to shape your nation's future? Sounds exciting, doesn't it? But what if this power was in the hands of everyone? Welcome to the world of democracy, a form of governance born in the cradle of Western civilization, ancient Greece. Here, the power to rule doesn't rest with a single person or a select few. Instead, it lies either directly with the people or with their elected representatives. This fascinating system comes in two flavors: direct democracy, where citizens themselves make legislative decisions, and indirect or representative democracy, where elected officials carry the torch on behalf of the citizens. But, as with every rose that comes with thorns, democracy too, despite its allure, has its drawbacks. As appealing as it sounds, democracy isn't without its flaws. Let's delve deeper into the disadvantages of this system. Democracy is often hailed as the best form of government, but is it really? This question leads us down a path less traveled to the darker corners of democracy. Democracy in its purest form is a system where power lies with the people or their elected representatives. It's a beautiful concept, isn't it? But like everything else, it's not without its flaws. One of the primary drawbacks of democracy is the potential for uninformed voting. Democracy assumes that the common citizen is wise and rational. Yet, complex political issues often fly over the heads of many, leaving them susceptible to the honeyed words of manipulative politicians. Another concern is the influence of wealth on election outcomes. Democracy is supposed to promote equality, but in reality, the scales often tip in favor of the wealthy. Campaigns are expensive, and those with deep pockets have a significant advantage. This undermines the very principle of equality that democracy is supposed to uphold. The slow pace of decision-making is another disadvantage. Democracy encourages debate and discussion, but this can lead to an agonizing crawl in the decision-making process. Urgent matters may be delayed, and the needs of the people may go unmet. Misuse of resources in elections is yet another problem. The extravagant spending on campaigns often seems wasteful, especially when considering the vast number of people in need. Moreover, democracy's emphasis on individual liberty can sometimes hinder progress. People resist change, and in a democracy, the majority rules. This can lead to stagnation, especially when the majority is resistant to progress. Finally, the freedom to change governments frequently can lead to instability. We've seen this happen in countries where governments change as often as the seasons. This frequent change can lead to a lack of continuity in policy, creating a volatile environment. So while democracy offers power to the people, it also presents significant challenges. But how does it stack up against other forms of government? This question is our beacon as we continue our journey into the exploration of political systems. Democracy is not the only game in town. Let's see how it fares against other forms of government. When we compare democracy to a monarchy, the differences are stark. In a monarchy, power is held by one individual, typically a king or queen, who inherits the position by birthright. This system often results in stability and continuity, as power transitions are usually smooth and predictable. But it lacks the principle of equality and citizen participation that are hallmarks of democracy. The monarch's decisions are final, which can be efficient, but it also means there's no room for dissent or differing perspectives. Next, let's consider dictatorship. A dictator has absolute power and authority, often gained through force. This form of government can make quick decisions and enact policies swiftly, which can be advantageous during times of crisis. However, this comes at a cost of individual liberties, as dissent is often suppressed and human rights can be easily violated. This is a stark contrast to democracy, where freedom of speech and the right to disagree are cherished. Lastly, we have communism. Here, the government owns all property and controls all aspects of life. Theoretically, this system seeks to eliminate social inequality by distributing wealth evenly among the population. But in practice, it often leads to a lack of motivation to excel and stifles innovation. The absence of competition can lead to stagnation, a stark contrast to the vibrant competitive environment that democracy can foster. In comparison, democracy, with its emphasis on individual rights, free speech, and citizen participation, offers a platform for diverse voices to be heard. It's a system that may be slow to make decisions, and yes, it can be influenced by the wealthy or the majority, but it also strives for equality and fairness. As we see, each system has its own strengths and weaknesses, and democracy, despite its flaws, has unique advantages. Now that we've weighed the pros and cons, it's time to ask the big question: is democracy worth its disadvantages? As we've traversed the corridors of democracy, we've observed its various facets, both luminous and shadowy. Democracy, in its essence, is a political system where the power lies with the people or their elected representatives. It allows for peaceful transitions of power, fosters citizen participation, promotes equality, and protects rights. Yet, it is not without its caveats. We've talked about the challenges that accompany this form of governance: uninformed voting, potential for mob influence, slow decision-making, short-term focus, and misuse of resources in elections are among the many stumbling blocks on the path of democracy. In countries where literacy rates are low, the lack of understanding of complex political issues can lead to the election of incompetent leaders. We've also delved into the comparison of democracy with other forms of government. Each has its own set of merits and demerits. While some might offer stability and quick decision-making, they often compromise on individual freedoms and equality. Others might uphold personal liberties but may fall short on efficiency and stability. Despite these drawbacks, the global acceptance of democracy is noteworthy. Nations across the world, irrespective of their cultural, social, or economic differences, have embraced this system. The anticipation of democracy as a prevailing form of government is a testament to its appeal. Why this acceptance, you ask? Perhaps it's because democracy, in its purest form, represents the voice of the people. It embodies the belief that each individual's opinion matters. Despite its flaws, it offers a platform for peaceful discourse, a chance for change, and a hope for progress. In the end, it's about choosing the lesser of two evils, or in this case, many. Democracy, with all its flaws, remains the most accepted form of government worldwide. Yet, it's always worth questioning and understanding its shortcomings. After all, knowledge is power.